The art of emperor that 1% of the elite class pursue. Greetings to all the distinguished guests and friends. Have you ever thought about a question that dates back to ancient times? Why could an emperor rule over hundreds of millions of people? When I was young, I once saw a scene on TV where an emperor loudly scolded his courtiers while the officials cowered in fear. I asked myself, why don't they rush up and rebel against the emperor? They have so many people, while the emperor is just one man. At that moment, an adult in the family told me, because the emperor has guards, before the officials could even act, the guards would capture and behead them. I then asked, but why do the guards obey the emperor? He replied, because the emperor has an army. Who would dare disobey? I pressed further, but the army consists of hundreds or thousands of people. Why do they follow just one emperor? The adult thought for a moment and said, because following the emperor means they get meat to eat and money to share. I asked again, then why don't they just rob the emperor's meat and money and divide it among themselves? At this point, he couldn't answer anymore. In fact, hidden behind this story is the core secret of mastery, leadership, and being at the top. Who among you can grasp this insight? Today, I will share with you an incredibly powerful piece of knowledge, the art of kingship. This isn't just something leaders need to know. Everyone should understand it. The art of kingship can be applied to everyday social relationships, including romantic relationships between men and women, and many other areas of life. If you rely solely on intuition to interact with others, if you've never studied the art of kingship, I can tell you bluntly, not only will your company struggle to grow and thrive, but it might even go bankrupt soon. Even your wife or girlfriend might leave you. If we want to enter the elite class or become a manager, we need to understand the art of kingship to some extent. We must know how to win people's hearts and make them willing to work for us. Whether you can comprehend the content of this video is crucial, because it determines whether you'll be the one controlling others or the one being controlled. Before we dive in, I want to emphasize that this channel specializes in sharing wealth-building mindsets for entrepreneurs, investors, and those seeking financial freedom. If you want to receive more free information, consider subscribing to my channel and turning on notifications. I sincerely wish all the brothers and sisters who like this video achieve financial freedom soon. If you find this video helpful, please share it widely. Without further ado, let's get straight to the main content. First, we need to understand who can become a leader. In primitive societies, every individual was independent. There was no concept of one person ruling over another. For example, imagine a man named Xian. He was strong and aggressive, able to openly steal food from others and threaten their safety. Yet even so, Xian had no intention of dominating others. On the other hand, there was a man named Nobita, physically weak and struggling with hunting, always having his prey stolen. Others in similar situations included Seko and Doraemon, facing a harsh natural environment and threats from stronger individuals. These three, in order to survive, formed an alliance to hunt together. They collaborated to compete for prey, forming a solid unit. Though each member of this group was weak individually, united, they became an invincible force. Even Qian, the strongest, couldn't take on all three of them at once. Qian, accustomed to bullying the weak, saw the tide turning and sought to regain his former status. So he approached Nobita's group and said, I want to join you. If there are benefits, we'll share them. If we encounter a strong enemy, I'll help you fight them. If you don't agree, I'll team up with others to destroy you." After some deliberation, the three agreed to let Cheyenne join. Thus, the trio became a quartet, and their strength grew even more. They no longer hunted, but began robbing food from others. While plundering, they also guarded against others copying their strategy and forming alliances. Whenever they detected signs of unity among others, they swiftly suppressed it. Gradually, all the residents in the area fell under their oppression. This private group slowly transformed into a leading and ruling force over the entire community. Thus, a tribe was born, and this group became the elders, establishing their leadership status. As the tribe's population grew, so did conflicts and the variety of tasks. To resolve disputes and optimize management, the elders began establishing rules and recruiting capable individuals to assist in governing the tribe. This gave rise to a bureaucratic class. Do you see it? In the end, who was most likely to become the leader? It was the one with the initial advantage. Cheyenne, he easily claimed the position of chief. From this, we can deduce one thing. As long as you have even a small advantage in real-world society, you can become a business owner or the head of a company. Suppose you start a business. If you have just one strength in business that surpasses your partners, you can fully leverage that advantage to become the boss, the leader. Every hero carries a sense of solitude. Every emperor is a lonely one. If you want to become strong, you must understand that on this path, you can only rely on yourself. Parents, relatives, friends, colleagues, none of them can be depended upon. To become strong, you must be different from the weak. You must learn to cherish solitude, for it is the road you must walk. Your thoughts will be something ordinary people cannot comprehend. If your family and friends are just average people, they'll easily be swayed by emotions and hurt your spirit. For instance, many online commenters today call me arrogant to the extreme, pointing out countless flaws they think I need to fix immediately. But I say this: everyone has many flaws, and there's really no need to fix them all. I focus only on my strengths, leveraging them every hour, every minute. A day has 24 hours. If I relentlessly maximize my strengths for all 24 hours, that's an outstanding day. If I maintain that for 365 days, I'll have an outstanding year. And if I do that for 100 years, I'll spend my entire life honing my strengths, becoming an outstanding person. We need to consider a critical question. Why should we listen to people who earn less than us about how to change ourselves? Many people have a misconception ingrained from childhood. Teachers instilled Confucian ideals, teaching that obeying parents is filial piety. But have you ever thought that if you follow the path they've laid out, at best, you'll only reach their level and class? In other words, if your parents are poor, and you follow their advice to grow, you'll likely end up at their level, poor. If you're lucky, you might rise to the middle class. Of course, your parents love you and want the best for you. They'll try to chart what they think is the ideal path. But if you keep following it, if they aren't wealthy, what's the point? True filial piety is surpassing them, so as not to waste their efforts and expectations. Thus, what we must do is become strong. Every strong person must have a resilient and stubborn heart. Only by holding fast to that heart can we live a bold and powerful life. The strong don't need the approval of the weak, whether they've reached the pinnacle of life or not. They only need to enjoy, encourage, and motivate themselves. They don't bow to violent or foolish ideologies, nor do they waste time arguing pointlessly with lesser minds. Many online tell me to be humble, to soften up, but why do they say that? Truthfully, they don't even know the answer. The reason is simple. No one likes someone different. An outstanding person is an outlier. Their instinct is to make me a copy of them, to adopt their mindset. But that will never happen. If my thinking mirrored theirs, I'd no longer attract the attention of the elite, and I'd live the life of society's lower class, just like them. In reality, many once had dreams of rising up, a seed of strength in their soul. But that seed was crushed by parents, friends, even lovers, all in the name of love. Those who succeed in entrepreneurship share one trait. We were born to be alone. I share these thoughts daily to gather like-minded people, so our souls no longer feel isolated. Have you ever wondered why ancient emperors, upon capturing another emperor, rarely killed them immediately, but instead kept them for a chat? It's because they were lonely. They saw a reflection of themselves in each other. If you want to be strong, you must break free from comfort and the limited thinking of ordinary people. You must dare to do what they won't, challenging yourself. The book Rich Dad Poor Dad teaches us that to escape the cycle of poverty, we must evolve from employees or freelancers into entrepreneurs and investors. When you have nothing, the only way to change your fate is to start a business. In the past, starting a business meant conquering territory. Today it means opening a company, seeking opportunities to get rich. With the rise of the mobile internet, we no longer need physical stores to sell fruit. We can start businesses online, earning massive profits without initial capital. So, I strongly encourage anyone wanting to break free from this meaningless cycle of life to start with personal media. Every leader is solitary. The larger the company you manage, the more employees you oversee, the more complex the relationships become. If you lack skills in handling human relationships, you'll be overwhelmed by chaos. In today's era of globalization and information, everyone knows a company can't succeed with just one person. To reach the top, we need a talented team. The key is, how do we make every member of the company believe in its culture and wholeheartedly build the business with us? I'll be honest, the people who earn the most in society aren't necessarily the most skilled workers. What matters more is how many people they can convince to dedicate themselves to their cause. Take, for example, the emperor I admire most, Liu Bang. He came from humble origins yet built an empire from scratch. Liu Bang spoke with his general Han Xin, knowing Han Xin excelled at leading troops into battle. He asked, "If I gave you an army, how many men could you command?" Han Xin confidently replied, "The more the better." He meant that no matter how many soldiers he led, he could manage them well. Clearly, Han Xin was highly capable and self-assured. But then he shifted the topic, saying to Liu Bang with admiration, "Your greatest strength isn't in commanding troops or strategizing battles, but in winning hearts. You gather the finest talents under your banner to conquer the world." Jack Ma is another example. Is he a tech genius? Not at all. He was an English teacher, yet Alibaba, the e-commerce empire he founded, achieved resounding success. Jack Ma's role wasn't the code or build the platform himself, but to set the vision and inspire others. The real builders of Alibaba were his 18 co-founders and talented engineers. Why did they all follow Jack's dream? Because, as a teacher, He'd mastered speaking, managing students, and understanding human psychology. This mindset echoes a philosophy proposed thousands of years ago by Han Feizi, a thinker deeply respected by Qin Shi Huang. Han Feizi pointed out that the worst kind of ruler is one who tries to make all his subjects love him. Why? Because if a leader obsesses over his subordinates' feelings, always sacrificing for them, he might earn admiration at best. But when the nation or company faces a crisis, those people won't trust or decisively follow his orders. That's the most pathetic kind of leadership. Yet today, many are misled by this idea. They think the great kings or leaders of history were perfect, benevolent figures loved by all. So they assume that to be a good leader, you must first be likable. The truth is, history's successful figures weren't always universally adored. So why does society paint them as saints? Simple. When you have power, people revere you, and that makes them easier to govern. Take George Washington, a famous historical figure. In school, we read about him and see him as a great man. But was he truly that great? One key thing to remember: history is written by the victors, while the losers don't get to tell their story. Most know Washington as honest. Everyone's heard the tale of him chopping down a cherry tree as a boy and confessing to his father. It's a widely spread legend, believed as fact, but it's not true. When the first biography of Washington was published, sales were poor from the first to fifth editions, so the publisher asked the author to spice it up. By the sixth edition, they added the cherry tree story. Sales soared, and the tale became accepted as truth. So what was Washington really like? Those who study American history know he was a skilled liar. As a military leader, he shared traits with Sun Tzu, author of The Art of War. Sun Tzu wrote, "All warfare is based on deception." Washington believed this too. In his notes, he stated that in battle, you must never let the enemy know your thoughts. War is a game of deceit. That's the real Washington. History, as they say, is written by the winners, who often portray themselves as saints to convince others they're great, compassionate leaders. If you aim to be a business owner or leader someday, remember this: if you strive to be loved by everyone, history has fooled you. You might think historical giants were full of charity, so you try to emulate them. But if you do, you'll face endless management problems later. People are greedy by nature. When your company's fine and the market's stable, treating employees well is no issue. They'll happily work. But when a crisis hits, if you expect them to share your burdens, you'll be disappointed. Those used to comfort won't sacrifice. When you ask for help, they'll feel you're demanding too much, criticize you, badmouth you, or even abandon you, thinking you're no longer capable. If a company stops growing, why should they work harder? Why help you? Why suffer with you? Isn't jumping ship better? If an emperor only pleases everyone, with a heart full of love and leniency, people won't fear him. They might even test his limits. Knowing he'll forgive their offenses, is such a leader useful, utterly worthless? As a business owner, you can't be someone everyone loves. Sun Tzu said a leader who's likable to all is the lowest kind, while one who inspires awe is truly worthy. What's the benefit of being a feared leader? A fearsome leader can easily direct others to do anything. When employees fear you, they're careful, avoiding mistakes, even going beyond what's asked out of fear. As I've said, humans are greedy. Treat them well, and they'll take it for granted. But if you stop giving or ask for reciprocation, they'll resent you. An average leader does the opposite. They demand dedication without giving back, pushing employees to invest more time and effort. Once employees have poured in so much, they can't leave. The cost of quitting is too high. Even in tough times, they stay, accustomed to contributing, which breeds loyalty. A feared leader at least won't be disrespected or casually defied. Ruling through fear ensures long-term stability and lasting benefits. However, this is only mid-tier. The highest level of leadership is inspiring both love, fear, a blend that creates true respect. A leader universally loved lacks boundaries, as the saying goes. A lenient mother spoils her child. Too much indulgence leaves kids without limits. Conversely, strict teachers produce great students. Clear boundaries keep disciples in line. But if boundaries are too rigid, it feels inhumane. Thus, the pinnacle of leadership balances strictness with compassion. An ideal king inspires both fear and love. He sets firm boundaries no one dares cross, but when someone performs well, he opens up slightly, revealing his inner world. Such a leader exerts a unique pull, making others eager to serve. This is the rarest type of leadership. In fact, this approach isn't just for leadership or business. It applies to personal relationships, even romance. Imagine a relationship between a man and woman, or husband and wife. If one partner, say a woman, blindly obeys her husband, he'll gradually overstep. There's a term for such women: father magnets, easily attracting flawed men because they lack clear boundaries. In any relationship, spousal, parental, friendly, employer-employee, leader-subordinate, clear boundaries are essential. Some might call this view negative, not positive thinking. But remember, the greatest theft in life isn't money. It's stealing others' intellect and labor. Then, their material wealth. What's good? What's evil? Why label them? People, bound by too many molds, become versions of themselves they despise, constantly contradicting and denying themselves. One thing must be clear: the world isn't full of just people. It's also rife with the wicked. In school, teachers taught us to be kind, but didn't warn us about evil. That's harmed many, leaving them wounded when they enter the real world, with no one to teach them how to cope. That's the cruelest thing, not teaching people to defend themselves, yet throwing them into battle. It's inhumane. Society is a battlefield. Without understanding its rules, we suffer losses in work and life. If we don't grasp the laws, the world devours us. The kind must learn to protect themselves. If you endlessly treat someone well without limits, they won't value you. They'll insult and belittle you. Your affection shouldn't be given freely. Make others earn it, so they realize they're not as great or capable as they think. Don't help the unworthy unconditionally. Many lack ability yet are vicious, using malice to harm the good. The kind must act wisely, not blindly saving others or sacrificing themselves. Your money should enhance your life, not fund others' waste. Protect your assets and improve your existence. A fool with no status. If you give them hope, it breeds resentment. They don't need hope. They need an endless loop of failure. We've been taught to be too good, losing our ability to resist, forgetting humans are predators. When we forget that, we become prey, a meal on someone else's table. This society is brutal, full of the immoral, ready to trample others. Don't just teach each other to be good kids. I hope these words make you reflect. When you awaken, you may still have money, youth, health, and earning potential. Time's limited, so we'll stop here. I share free knowledge on becoming wealthy, entrepreneurial, and financially free. If you don't want to miss out, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video. I wish all who liked it early financial freedom. If you find just 1 or 2 useful insights here to improve your life, I'm satisfied. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.